Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I welcome all of you on this wonderful occasion where we have all assembled again to recite some of the chapters of the one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, to have a chit chat, some kind of discussion where we go further in our devotional practice unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And we also happen to discuss something about the glories of Tulsi Maharani. And finally, we'll also take out some time to hear a small snippet from Srila Prabhupada's transcendental lecture. And also, we will chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is the schedule for today's packed up session. If all of you can hear me clearly, then can you please raise your hands to confirm? Thank you very much. Please lower your hands. So we will begin with the recitation of the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. There are few participants who are not able to read the Devanagari text in Hindi or the English text transliteration. So they may need to refer in their vernacular language, which may be Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, or any other script. So if that's the case, kindly take note of the chapters which are being recited in these sessions. So today, if we are reciting the 8th chapter, so next week, it will be the 9th chapter. So if you need any other text which is to be shown in computer, in laptop here, that's not possible. But maybe you can arrange your own scripts or your own version of your own language Bhagavad Gita, so that as and when we recite these shlokas, saying the Devanagari and the English transliteration, you may also be able to follow along with your own scripts in which you are comfortable in. So let's begin today's session by reciting the Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 8. I will share my screen. Okay. So far, so good. And this is the chapter number 8. I hope you are able to see my screen. And let's begin. But before we begin, most important part, let's chant the pranam mantras and invoke the auspicious blessings of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara and ultimately Lord Krishna, which inspires and offers all auspiciousness and makes this discussion successful. Even before we chant these pranam mantras, let's pray to Sri Radha Madhav, to Lakshmi Narasimhadev, and to Sri Gaur Nitai, that they may enable me in such a way that the right words come out at the right time. And may this session please all the devotees who have assembled today and assist them in their spiritual lives. And let's pray that this session may become useful in few or many ways. And I offer this session for the pleasure of Sri Radha and Krishna and all the acharyas who are there in this glorious Guru Shishya Parampara. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruhu Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं, यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं, श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Okay, chapter 8, titled Attaining the Supreme. Arjuna uvacha किं तद् ब्रह्म किं तद् ब्रह्म किं अध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तमा अधिभूता अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् आदिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावो भूतभावोद्भवः करो विसर्गः कर्म संज्ञितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहम् एवात्र देहे देह भृतांबर अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं य प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तं एवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मर युध्य च मयि अर्पितो मनो बुद्धिर्मामे वश्यैस्य असंशयः अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् कविं पुराणम् अनुशासितारम् अणीयांसम् अनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारम् अचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्रणाम आवेश्य सम्यक् स तं परं पुरुषम् उपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वितारागः यद् इच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्धन्य आध्यात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्य एकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन्मामनुस्मरन् य प्रयातीत्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेतः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गतः आब्रह्म भुवनालोका पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुना मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुग पर्यन्तम् अहर्यद् ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युग सहस्रान्तं तेहोरात्र विदो जनः अव्यक्ताद् व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्य अहर आगमे रात्र्य आगमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्त समज्ञके भूतग्राम सह एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्य आगमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्य अहरागमे परस्तस्मात् भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इति युक्तस्तं माहुः परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्व अन्यया यस्यान्तः स्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वम् इदं ततं यत्र काले अनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयातयान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभा अग्निर्ज्योतिरहः शुक्लः षण्मास उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयात गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मा विदो जनः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मास दक्षिणायनं तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिर्योगी पाप्य निवर्तते शुक्लकृष्णे गतिह्येते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्य अनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते सृति पार्थ जानन् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we have successfully recited the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now we will read the translations. Chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is self? What are the fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies of living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. The best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly, best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing, is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of sun and moon, is called Adi Daiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhiyagya, or the Lord of sacrifice. And whoever at the end of this life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Very important shloka. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, and he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, and who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. One who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviated mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkar, and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air on the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Basically, text number 14 is saying that there is no need to practice all this yoga. If you can simply practice remembering Krishna, then no need of fixing the air and closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air on the top of the head, which anyways nobody can do in Kali Yuga. So this is very important. Text number 14 is very important. Text 15. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to the temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So only bhakti yogis can reach there. From the highest planet in the material world, which is Brahmaloka, down to the lowest, all are places of miseries, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Meaning to say, even if you go to Brahmaloka, which is called as Satyaloka, even in that place, the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death wouldn't leave you. Text 17. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form one duration from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such is also the duration of his night. So Krishna is giving information. Many people deny the existence of demigods. But how can you deny the statements of Krishna? Krishna is telling, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. So Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, combined together, it is called as one age or one Mahayuga. And 1,000 such ages, that means 1,000 Mahayugas, is 12 hours of Brahma. And again, 1,000 Mahayugas is 12 hours of night of Brahma. Okay. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living in text 18, at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. Very interesting. Maybe you can read the purport and try to understand. Again and again, bhukta praliyate. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. What is that part? The Golok Vrindavan, or the Dham of the Lord. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which the passing away from this world, the yogi does not come back. In the purport to this verse number 23, Prabhupada writes that these are meant for those people who are not exactly devotees. They have to take care that I have to pass in Uttarayan or Dakshinayan and things like that. But for a devotee, he doesn't need to care anything. If he is simply chanting Hare Krishna and somehow able to quit his body in the association of devotees, remembering the name, form, qualities, and pastimes, and whenever he comes, it is auspicious. That means whenever he comes in this world is auspicious, and whichever time he chooses to leave, that is also auspicious. But those who are not devotees, they have to try to make so many calculations. The calculations are given below. Text 24. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months in which the sun travels north, Uttarayan, sorry. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. That means those who die in Dakshinayan, in such and such time and all, they have to again take birth in this material world. Temporarily, they may go to the Chandra, moon planet. According to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. Although a devotee knows these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Why Krishna says this? Because the devotees, they need not care for Dakshinayan and Uttarayan. Krishna says in the verse number 6, let's see what he says. In the verse 6, he says, whatever state of being one, not verse 6, verse 5. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains to my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. So this super statement number 5 is superimposing all the other statements which are made here. So therefore, Krishna says, devotee is never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. However, if you are not a devotee of Krishna, then you have to take care of all these Uttarayan, Dakshinayan, Vastu, and this and that. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas. Very important. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying Vedas, performing sacrifice, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches my supreme eternal abode. Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme ki jai. So thank you very much to all of you for having participated in this wonderful narration of the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Reciting the Bhagavad Gita every day, one chapter, and reading its translations is one of the most auspicious things which one can do. It gives relief to one from the influence of the modes of material nature. It establishes a very, very sweet relationship of the particular person with Krishna. So it is always good to recite these chapters. Let's not do it on a weekly basis. Even when we don't have our sessions, devotees can recite and take full advantage. Okay, now that we have recited our chapter, what I was thinking, because this is Kartik month, so let's take the opportunity to hear a lecture of Srila Prabhupada. So we'll not hear for 30 minutes like we did during the Ekadashi, or maybe devotees can let me know if they would like to hear for 30 minutes, then I have no problem. By the way, the chat box is open. Can you just let me know until what duration would you like to hear? I had planned for 7 to 10 minutes, but if devotees want to hear for a longer duration, they can let me know. The chat box is open. Just write in the duration. How much? 10, 20, how much? How many minutes in minutes? Okay, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, full narration, 30 minutes. 30 minutes is also fine for me. I would love to hear the whole. So we have to do a trade-off. Sudha Mataji is telling whatever you decide. Sudha Mataji is very smart. So, so there is a trade-off. There is a small trade-off. If we hear it for 30 minutes, then we have to skip things like, because I definitely want to do Damodar Ashtakam. So I need 10 minutes for that. And if we hear the full lecture and then we have a discussion, then that takes around 40 minutes. So 40 plus 10. So that's all we can do. So Damodar Ashtakam and Prabhupada lecture. However, if we hear it for a shorter duration, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, and then have a discussion, then we can have Damodar Ashtakam, and maybe we can also have some question and answers. So this is the trade-off. In case if devotees, if you think that you do not have many questions, then we can go with the full lecture. But in case if devotees think that they have some questions which they would like to clarify and discuss, then we can listen to a shorter duration. So I hereby request the devotees to raise their hands if they have some questions which they want to discuss. So if you raise your hands, that means we'll hear a shorter duration of Prabhupada's lecture. Okay, Khushi Mataji is having some question. Apart from Khushi Mataji, anybody else is there with a question? Okay, Balaji Mohan. Okay, okay. 2 questions means 10 minutes. So okay, we'll hear the lecture only for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And wherever we stop in today's session, we will continue in the next Tuesday's session. So I'll quickly share my screen once more. Thank you. And this is today we will hear Bhagavad Gita 2.17. This is a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada on August 23rd, 1973 in London. And the verse is this. Avinashi tu tadvidhi. So maybe you would like to see the translation. Or translation is here only. Know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. Let's hear from Srila Prabhupada. 1 second, I'll have to share my screen again, because I have not shared the computer sound.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasya asya na kashchit kartum arhati. Avinashi tu tadvidhi, avinashi tu tadvidhi, yena sarvamidang tatam, yena sarvamidang tatam, Vinasham avyayasyasya, vinasham avyayasyasya, na kaschit kartamarhati, na kaschit kartamarhati, avinashi tu tadvidhi, avinashi tu tadvidhi, yena sadvam idam tatam, yena sadvam idam tatam, vinasham avyayasyasya, vinasham avyayasyasya, na kaschit kartamarhati, na kaschit kartamarhati, avinashi tu tadvidhi, avinashi tu tadvidhi, yena sarvam idam tatam, yena sarvam idam tatam, vinasham avinashi, imperishable, tu, but, tat, that, vidti, know it, yena, by whom, sarvam, all of the body, idam, this, tatam, widespread, vinasham, destruction, avyayasya, of the imperishable, asya, of it, nakaschit, no one, kartum, to do, arhati, able. Translation: know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi, jena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasam abhyasya asya na kaschit kartumarhati. Now it is very clearly enunciated the nature of the soul. Any sensible man can understand. This is practical. Normally all the verses, they were more or less theoretical. Dehinasmin yatha dehi kaumaram yonam jara. It may be taken theoretical, not theoretically, but actually the fact, but still less intelligent cannot understand that there is a soul within the body. But here it is explained very clearly. Avinashi tu tad vidhi, that thing which is spread all over the body. Avinashi tu tad vidhi, that, avinashi, imperishable. So what is spread all over the body? Consciousness. That is spread all over the body. Everyone can understand that if I pinch any part of my body or yours, any part of the body, you feel pain. Or similarly, if you get some other facilities, a pleasure, the pains and pleasure are felt so long there is consciousness. Any man can understand. And as soon as the consciousness is not there, sometimes we are made unconscious by drugs, by chloroform and other anesthetic medicine, or by nature, unconscious state. There are three stages. Jagriti, Swapna, Susupti. Anyone has got this experience. One stage is that you are awakened. another stage is sleeping, and another stage is unconscious. 3 stages. Jagriti, Sapna and Sushupti, the Sanskrit name. Jagriti, when you are awakened, our consciousness is very acute, very strong. In sleeping state, there is consciousness, but it is not so active. And unconscious state means consciousness is somewhere or other subdued, not working. 3 stages. So, death means that unconsciousness for a long period. That is death. Because the soul is eternal. It will be explained. There is no birth and death. So when this body is annihilated, so the soul remains unconscious for a period. 7 months for human being. 7 months unconscious state within the womb of the mother. After 7 months, the consciousness revives. Just like if you have got an experience under chloroform, unconsciousness, the surgical operation takes place, you do not understand, you do not perceive pains and pleasure, but you remain for a certain hours unconscious, then gradually dream comes. Just from unconsciousness, the dream comes. And from dream, you are awake. As you go down from awakening stage to dream, dream to unconsciousness, similarly you come up also. From unconsciousness to dream, from dream to awakening conscious state. So death means when this body is lost, gross body, and the soul remains in the subtle body, intelligence, mind and ego. That subtle body carries him to another body. But those who are not intelligent, they do not understand what is the subtle body. Although it is clearly said, subtle body means mind, intelligence. You have got mind, intelligence, everyone knows. But these rascals, because they cannot see mind and intelligence, they think that this man is God. Mind, intelligence, and everyone knows that he has got mind. I know you have got your mind, I have got my mind. You have got intelligence, I have got intelligence. But I do not see your intelligence. It is subtle. Just like there is sky, but here is sky in my front, but I do not see. These things as they become more subtle and subtler, these gross senses cannot experience. Therefore the soul is so subtle that it is not possible to perceive the presence of soul with these material senses. So these rascals, they simply say, no, I cannot see soul. How can you see? That is not possible. It is so minute and so subtle that it cannot be seen by this gross eye. Acyuta khalijve bhava, natat tarkena jujaya. So, Krishna says, just imagine, thought that jena sarvam idam tato. Idam, this body, Tatam. Tatam means expanded, spread. So we can understand the consciousness that if I press, if I paint, or otherwise we feel pain, that is consciousness. So, Krishna clearly says that that thing is avinashi, imperishable. Now, Krishna has said previously that we, I, you, and all others, we existed in the past. So we existed in the past. That means we are all individuals. In the past also, we are individuals, and at the present, we are individuals, and we shall continue to be individuals in the future. There is no such thing as the Mayavadi philosophers or rascals. They say that after liberation, they all intermingle, becomes a homogeneous lump. No. Even after liberation, we remain individual, particles. It is not that we mix up, homogeneous mixing up. Even in matter, what to speak of spirit, it will be explained that spirit cannot be cut into pieces. That means we are all spirit soul. It is not. We are lumped together at one time. Now we have been cut into pieces and therefore we are individual. This is Mayavadi philosophy. It is not that. We are individuals, sanatana, eternally. That will be explained. Mamaivamsa jiva, jiva loka, sanatana. Eternally we are individuals. Nitya nityanam, chetana chetananam. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Chetan, conscious. Just like we are consulting dictionary yesterday. Supreme Being. Therefore His consciousness is also supreme. As we are living being, not supreme, subordinate. Similarly, God is also being, but the supreme being. That is it. Very simple thing. You cannot say that I am supreme. As these rascals say, that I am God. How you can be God? Are you supreme? As soon as we ask this question, are you supreme? No. Then how you become God? The supreme means, that is also, we consulted dictionary, supreme means the highest authority. So, is any one of us the highest authority? No. Nobody is highest authority. Everyone is under the grip of material nature. How you can be highest authority? But they imagine, yes, I am highest authority, I meditate, I am the highest authority, I am moving the sun, I am moving this, I am simply rascaldom. This is their meditation. Falsely think that I am the supreme, I am controlling everything, the sun is moving under my direction, everything, the water is, seas, I will say, there, under my direction. Simply, this is their meditation. Impersonal. Just try to understand how much fool is there. Any sane man will say that I am moving the sun, I am moving the moon, I am moving the sea. Any sane man will say like that. Nobody will say. Will you say, anyone here? that you are moving the sun, you are moving the moon? Who is there? Anyone? Who can say? Nobody can say. And still these rascals are claiming that he has become God. God. You are all God. This rascal philosophy has killed the whole world. Atheism. So many incarnation, gods, all false theories only. This is going on. So many gurus, all rascals. All rascals. Take it for granted. Anyone who is speaking against the principle of Bhagavad Gita, he is a rascal, number one. That's all. Don't give you any credit. Tell him on the face. Whether you accept Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he says no, then you are rascal. That's all. There is no exemption. At least you must know that here is a rascal. Because God is Krishna, the Supreme, Ishara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, accepted by all acharyas, by all Vedic Shastra. And when he was present himself, he proved himself that he is God. Nobody was equal to Krishna when he was personally present. Throughout the whole history of Mahabharata you can see, nobody was equal to Krishna. And nobody was greater than Krishna. Many, many demons came to fight with him, to kill him. Even when he was a child, the Putana demon came to kill him by poisoning. But Krishna is so kind that Putana smeared over her breast poison, and Krishna sucked the breast and sucked her life also. But she was given liberation, the position of mother. Krishna is so kind, that is supreme consciousness, that however this demon, Putana, was innocent or ignorant, she came to kill me without knowing that I cannot be killed. That is her ignorance. But so far I am concerned, I have touched her breast as mother. Therefore she should be given the position of mother. Like Jasodama. This is Krishna. She felt in himself so much of life because this is service, just like mother gives service to the child without any return. She gives from the very beginning of her life within the womb. The mother feeds the child. The process is given by nature, but mother feeds. Therefore, when pregnant, the mother should not eat any pungent things because it will give to the tender skin and heart of the child. She should eat only very simple things, but they have no conscience. They are now killing. What to speak of? Maintaining the child very nicely, that there is a child, my son or my daughter, she must be provided with all comforts in the home. There is no motherly affection in this Kali Yuga. In the material world, motherly affection is considered to be the highest form of love. But the Kali Yuga is so polluted that mother is also giving up her love for the children. Just imagine what is the Kali Yuga. Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagyaj buddhita.
Hare Krishna. So all of you heard this wonderful lecture. I will request all of you to share one point which you have liked or which you think, which you will reflect upon, take back home, meditate upon, anything. One point if you can share, it'll be good for all of us. We will also learn by your realizations. So anybody who would like to share a point, please raise your hand and we will unmute you. Okay, people are typing. That is also acceptable. Narayani Kannan, Mataji is saying that soul is eternal. Very good. Body is not eternal. Krishna is the only supreme personality of Godhead. Deepmala Golani Mataji is telling. Thank you very much, Mataji, for that realization. Anybody else? Any point which they liked, which they would like to share for us? We learn from your realizations. Anybody? Actually, when we hear a lecture, this is how it should be heard. We hear and then we discuss it. We hear and then we share a point. Then we will be able to remember it for a lifetime. But if we just hear and forget, then it is very difficult. Even after 24 hours, if we ask, oh, what was the verse on which we heard the lecture? We will not be able to answer. So, Dakshani Mataji is telling, anyone against BG are rascals. That's actually true. Khushi Vadna Mataji is telling, we should only pray to the Supreme Personality. Yes, we should not pray to the Chief Minister, but to the Supreme Personality. Correct? Anybody else? Any other points? Can someone highlight about the aspect of death which Prabhupada was pointing out? The gross body dies, but the subtle body remains. The 7-month concept. What is that? Okay, Gita Shriram Mataji is telling, we remain individual birth after birth. Very, very important point. The Mayavadi theory is saying the Buddhists and the other monoist philosophies, nullist and voidist philosophy, they say that once you die, everything is finished. The modern civilization of the human beings also, they say the same. Eat, drink, be merry. What happens after death is never discussed. But that doesn't mean that after death there is nothing. So there are many monoist philosophies who say that after death, nothing, everything becomes null and void. That's not the case. We remain individual, birth after birth. Before we were individual, after the death also will remain. There's no concept of merging, that we merge with that super soul. The whole concept of merging, I will not take names here, but there are various pseudo-spiritual societies who are explaining this concept of merging very authoritatively. And the so-called technocrats, industrialists, IITians and IIMs and CAs and all, they go to big, big colleges and they explain this philosophy. And all these so-called, I would like to say, demons who are there in these institutes as students, they accept it also. Why? Because they get an option to become God. They say either you are God, you are in the process of becoming God, you just don't know that you are God, and very soon you will become God. So they accept it. Yes, I'm God. There are so-called big, big saints whom people respect so much, and they have proclaimed such philosophies. So we have to be very, very careful. Okay? Okay, and let's see what others are saying. Okay, many, many people have said. Soul is eternal. Vinita Mataji is saying, very good. The mind, intelligence, and false ego make up the subtle body along with the super spirit soul. Actually, there are 3 bodies: physical body, subtle body, and spiritual body. Physical body is this, that which we can see. Subtle body is that which we cannot see. It comprises mind, intelligence, false ego. And spiritual body is not a part of the subtle body. However, death means gross body falling down dead, the subtle body carrying the spiritual body along with it to another mother's womb. Just like the air carries the aroma of the rose. You don't know where the aroma is coming, but you can sense it. You cannot see it, but you can sense it. So in that way only, that is called transmigration of soul. What is liberation? Gross body remaining here, subtle body remaining here, only the pure spirit soul going back home, back to Godhead. That is liberation. Okay, Khushi Mataji is telling, what is she saying? We should always follow the Vedic culture of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, but be very careful. In the name of Vedic culture, there are many alligators, sharks, and crocodiles who can mislead you. They will say we are Vedic, but actually they are not Vedic. They are Mayavadis. Okay? So Shri Krishna के शरण में जाएंगे तो जन्म मृत्यु के फेरे से मुक्त हो जाएंगे. वेरी करेक्ट. बहुत सही बोल रही हैं माता जी. सुलभा पार की माता जी. Padmalata Koduru Mataji is telling soul is eternal, so reaching the super soul is blissful. Soul is eternal, so reaching the super soul is blissful. Yes, that's correct. Soul has always been individual. Soul remains in unconscious state for 7 months. That is only in case of human beings. Okay. Death is just a periodic state of unconsciousness. Jay Prakash Pandey, okay. Soul is not conscious till 7 months in the mother's womb. Very important point. So actually after 7 months, the soul gets back its consciousness. And those who are fortunate, they will remember their past 100 births. The 7-month-old child remembers this. This is all said in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Devahuti Samvad, where how the soul remembers the past 100 lifetimes and suffers at how I have wasted each and every opportunity to become a devotee. And because it is able to remember the past 100 lifetimes, it is miserable. And Prabhupada was telling that mother should not eat pungent things, because if she eats some pungent or sour or bitter or masaledar and things like that, then it burns the skin of the baby. Tender skin gets burnt. And if she eats something sweet, then insects will come and bite the baby. And needless to say, the baby is surrounded by pus, stool, urine, blood, mucus. These are the things in which the baby is surrounded with. So that is why I always say that the 4 problems of life are birth, disease, old age, and death. And staying for 9 months or 10 months in the womb of a mother is not a very pleasurable experience. So in that state of misery, the soul prays to the Supreme Lord that please take me out from here. I cannot bear it. Then the soul gets, all of us who are alive today, we are proofs of the fact that we have all seen the super soul, Paramatma, the 4-handed Vishnu form of the Lord, who came in front of us in the size of a thumb in the womb of the mother. And we have all seen that Supreme Personality of God, and we have all prayed to him that you give me one more chance. In this lifetime, I will become your devotee. And by his mercy, the airs in the body or in the womb of the mother, they push the baby out. But the moment the baby comes out, the Maya catches, and then the whole scene starts. The baby starts feeling happy in the laps of the mother and the father, and the toys and the smiles make the baby forget the miserable, that this world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. The baby grows up, starts playing, starts studying, and then becomes proud of their education, goes from one place to another place, earning money, and thinks that the purpose of life is simply to maintain my family. And in this way, the baby gets lost. Not the baby, the spirit soul now gets lost eternally. Actually, my recommendation is that anybody who is about to deliver a baby or is pregnant, they should read the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, this Kapil Devahuti Samvad, to understand the responsibility which a parent has when they give birth to a child, and to understand the miserable state in which the child is within the womb. And that will make the parents very conscious that I am bringing a soul in this material world, so I should take full responsibility to liberate this soul from the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, I have no right to become a parent. I cannot be cats and dogs simply producing children. So that is the 7 months concept. The subtle body accompanies the consciousness provided the spirit soul, and they migrate to another material body. Soul is not conscious till 7 months in the mother's womb. That is okay. Oh, I read that. Individual soul is different from the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna. Correct? Vinita Dambal Mataji is telling people mistakenly think that they are God, which is not. This is not a mistake, Mataji. This is a deliberate, what can I say, a deliberate ideology. All those people who are telling that they are God, you just ask them, you are telling you are God, can you control your bowel movements? You want to go to toilet, if I lock the door, you'll start begging in front of me that please let me go. This kind of God you are. You cannot control your stomach also. You cannot guarantee whether you will clear your stomach nicely tomorrow morning also or not. And you are claiming that you are God. So this is the test of God. Feed them, if somebody says they are God, feed them very nice prasad at night, and in the morning lock the toilet doors. And when they will be dancing in front of you, at that time you say you are God, right? You control the sun and the moon. Why can't you control your stomach? So this is the way we should treat such people. The Kali Yuga is an era of contamination and no pure love exists. Even motherly love is subjugated to be polluted. That is true. The proof of this is abortions. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna enters. How he enters? This wife of Abhimanyu is coming running towards Krishna, telling that this Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama is coming to destroy the baby in my womb, who is the child of Abhimanyu. All the lineage of Pandavas are dead. Abhimanyu's child is the only child which is remaining. So you please save. And at that time, what is she praying? Oh Krishna, if you want, let the Brahmastra come and hit me, let me die. I don't care, but please save this child. But the women of Kali Yuga, they are very so eager to abort their own children. And this is going on. So that's why Prabhupada is very rightly saying that the motherly affection is also dead. So see, one small lecture of 20 minutes and we have so much points to discuss. So this is how you should hear the lectures. So thank you very much for all your contributions. We shall now, okay, I had also said that every session I will tell you the glories of Tulsi Maharani. The idea of me saying or speaking this is so that I wanted to encourage all of you to have a very nice Tulsi pot or Tulsi plant at home, take care of it, and then water it, circumambulate it, worship it. So for that purpose, I had glories of Tulsi Maharani from various places. Okay, so every session we will read some small section from this compilation of the glories of Tulsi Maharani. Sometimes I can tell you a story, sometimes I can tell you some glorification. So today I will tell some glorification. In the Padma Purana, there are 30 chapters describing Tulsi's appearance. Her glorious attributes are recounted in the Vedic literature. Just by looking at Tulsi, all of one's sins is removed. Just by touching her, one's body becomes purified. All diseases are removed by praying to her. Fear of death is destroyed by watering her. Just by planting or transplanting her, one achieves realization of the Supreme Personality of God. If someone offers her leaves at the lotus feet, if someone offers Tulsi leaves at the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna will award liberation and devotion to that soul. Sri Krishna is very fond of Tulsi, also called as Tulsi Maharani. Vayu Puran states, the Supreme Lord Hari does not accept anyone's worship without Tulsi. So all places of pilgrimage on this planet in the millions of universes take shelter in a single Tulsi leaf. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotee, sells himself to a devotee who merely offers a Tulsi leaf and a palm full of water. So there was a very great devotee called Advaita Acharya, who was simply, he had his Shaligram Shila. Shaligram Shila is the representative of Lord Vishnu. So he used to just offer some Ganges water and some Tulsi leaves. and he used to pray incessantly. And those prayers of Advaita Acharya were the reason why Krishna descended again in Kali Yuga in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's how potent is offering one tulsi leaf to Krishna. The process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra with a vow before the tulsi plant has such a strong spiritual potency that simply by doing this, one can become spiritually strong. So, yes, we also did this earlier when I was um, not physically staying in the temple. We used to stay in a place called as base. Base was a very, very conducive environment. It was full form is Bhakti Vedant Academy of Spiritual Education. So what we used to do, all of us who would be working in different corporates, we would hire a flat or something like that, and we would all stay together. We would build a nice altar, and 4:30 a.m. we would do Mangalarti, and then we would sit and do same temple standards. Just the thing is that when someone stays in the temple, like me, we are fully dedicated to this. We have full, like we try to do full-time service to Krishna. But those who stay in base, they go to office, but they have a very strong morning program. They wake up at 3:30 or 3:45 and have bath and dress in devotional attire, come for Mangalarti at 4:30. If they don't come on time, fine is there, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, something like that. And then Mangalarti happens, Tulsi Arti happens, Narsimha Arti happens. Then everybody sits down. And first, for example, from 4:30 to 5, they do all this. And from 5 to 5:25, they hear a Prabhupada lecture together, just like we heard. And then they share points just like we did. And then from 5:30 to 7:30, people are sitting in a circle and they put a tulsi plant or a tulsi pot in between, and they sit in front of the tulsi plant looking at the altar of Krishna, and they chant for 2 hours. Generally 16 rounds takes around 2 hours. So only people who chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles, only such boys and working boys are allowed to stay in the base. So that's how the morning program goes. So I have actually seen people, my seniors, when we used to stay in base, they would just sit in front of a tulsi plant and they would chant. And their chanting was really, really powerful. I can say that they were in such a spiritual ecstasy that nothing could shake them. No, there was nothing in this material world which could affect them. And they were all great Mahatmas. They're all in different parts of India and different parts of the world now, doing something. Many of them, most of them got married and well settled. Also, their children are also very spiritually potent like them. So, the bottom line is Tulsi Maharani is very glorious. We read some of the glories today. And especially having a Tulsi, circumambulating the Tulsi plant, offering water to it twice, sitting in front of the Tulsi plant and chanting. These are very, very spiritually powerful processes. And why am I saying this? I'm not just saying out of my mental concoction, I'm just quoting the scriptures. I have given Shastra Praman for all this. Okay, Deepmala Gulani Mataji is telling Prabhuji, please share the Vidhi of Tulsi Shaligram Viva. I don't know, Mataji. You will know better. Actually, I know, but not relevant now. Tulsi Shaligram Viva is generally we will not recommend to do all that right now, because having a Shaligram and worshipping a Shaligram is a very, very serious activity. If we are in a neophyte stage, or if we do not know this intricacies of worshipping Shaligram, because if we make any offenses in worshipping the Shaligram, it will have adverse effect on our health and many other things. Shaligram worship means very, very serious. Until unless we are trained in deity worship, until unless we know what the Hari Bhakti Vilas says about how to worship a Shaligram, better to avoid Shaligram worship. Okay, should we water Tulsi ji twice? See, ideally, in the temple, we water it twice. In the morning, just when the sun has risen, we have some 14, 15 Tulsi plants here. So we go and water it. And then before the sun sets, we water it a little bit. So that's how we are doing, and it gets sufficient sunlight also. So in this way, we take care of our tulsi plants. Okay, so now we have two more activities pending. We have to sing the Damodar Ashtakam. We need 10 minutes in the end for that. And we also have some question and answers to take. If there are any question and answers, I think two people raised their hands. Balaji Mohan and I think Khushi Mataji, both of you can ask your questions now. So who would like to go first? Balaji Mohan, okay. Ask, you can please unmute yourself and you can start your video on.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Having some video problem, I think.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. So in the last session, you had said that Sattva Gun also actually conditions us to happiness, right? But is it not that a Krishna conscious person also stays happy always? So how do we differentiate between those two happinesses?
Yeah. See, we have to understand what is Sattva Gun and what is Shuddha Sattva. What is mode of goodness and what is Shuddha Sattva called in English? Pure mode of goodness. Not pure mode of goodness. What is Shuddha Sattva called in English? That is above the mode of goodness, basically, we can understand like that. Shuddha Sattva. So, mode of goodness is conditioning because it is not the happiness which someone experiences, as I've read in the Bhagavad Gita. It is poison in the beginning, nectar in the end. This happiness is not arising or it is not coming from the spiritual platform. It is coming basically from, we are existing in a particular mode of goodness. So basically we are in a non-sinful kind of a disposition. So because we are not in a sinful disposition, so we are not accountable or we are not meant to suffer, or let's say not meant to be slaughtered at the hands of the laws of material nature. So because our suffering reduces and because we are not sinful, so this reduction in suffering feels like some happiness. The example which Prabhupada gives in his purports is people who have some kind of a structure in their life, who are able to focus on their things, who don't have any bad habits, scientists, the philosophers, the doctors and the engineers, the sincere ones, they feel that I'm so advanced in knowledge and I'm earning money and I'm maintaining my family and teachers. So these are the people who are conditioned by the mode of goodness. They feel very happy about what they are doing. They do not have much spiritual inquiry about what the Brahma Jigyasa is, may not be there. Okay, so my voice is cracking. Is it better now?
Yeah, it is better.
Okay. So conditioned by the mode of happiness means they start thinking that they are happy in this material world. And how they are better than the people in the mode of passion? The people in the mode of passion, they have to force themselves to think that they are happy in this material world. And people of ignorance, let's not talk about them. They are mad people. But people in the mode of goodness, they are conditioned to think that they are happy in this material world. And they, for example, a teacher, they will say, I'm very happy teaching children. What am I teaching? Okay, I'm teaching, let's say, chemistry. Or I'm teaching, let's say, some subject. Nuclear mathematics, let's say, differential calculus, something I'm teaching. And I'm very happy teaching them so that I can go on teaching them life after life after life. This is stupidity. This is called conditioning by the modes of material nature. That teacher will think I'm so advanced. My students are so advanced. I'm contributing to the GDP of the country and what not. So similarly, a teacher thinks like this, a poet thinks like this, a scientist thinks like this, an engineer thinks like this, an MBA thinks like this. So this is conditioning. However, the happiness which comes from the Shuddha Sattva or by practicing Krishna consciousness does not come from the mode of goodness platform. It comes from the spiritual platform. It is not subjected to external circumstances. Even a person who is in the mode of goodness, you put him or her in a little bit distress, they will not feel happy. But Krishna consciousness, that's happiness or that bliss which erupts from the spiritual platform, is not subjected to Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, and Adhyatmik Klesh. These are three different kinds of miseries which we face. Adhyatmik Klesh means the miseries which we are facing because of our own body and mind. Like I said, if somebody gets a throat infection, they'll suffer for the next 2 weeks. If somebody has a problem in their teeth, they'll be crying. Now, so many and sufferings because of the mind. And then the next kind of suffering is Adi Bhautik suffering. Sufferings which others cause me. My neighbor at from 11 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. in the morning watches movie on loudspeakers next to my room. So that is my suffering. So a mosquito, another person will bite me and I'll get dengue. So this is Adi Bhautik Klesh. And Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik Klesh is those miseries which are coming because of the nature. I'm going somewhere and tsunami comes. I'm going and then landslide happens, earthquake happens. So that which is arranged by the higher nature. So Krishna consciousness means one will experience such kind of a happiness that they will not be affected by even Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, Adi Devik kleshas. This is not true for the happiness or the so-called happiness which comes by following the mode of goodness. Let's clarify it in this way, that mode of goodness is the platform from where you can jump to the transcendental state of Krishna consciousness, Shuddha Sattva. However, the happiness which one experiences in the mode of goodness contains, it's not uncontaminated happiness. This happiness contains the seeds of future unhappiness. But the happiness which one experiences in Krishna consciousness, Shuddha Sattva, is uncontaminated bliss. This is my answer to your question, Balaji Mohan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, understood. Yeah. So the people in Sattva Gun also, they are happy if this is there, right? But the people in Krishna consciousness are happy irrespective of anything.
Correct. Best example is Prahlad. You see what all atrocities his father was doing. He was burning him. He was throwing him from a cliff. He was throwing him in a well full of snakes. He was deep frying him. Whatnot. Burn him. All, but still Prahlad was happy. But a person who is not Krishna conscious, you put him on a celestial plane, or you make him the king of the world, or you give him all the facilities, still he'll be unhappy, like Hiranyakashipu. He had everything. There is no material opulence which you can imagine which Hiranyakashipu didn't have. First of all, you know only material opulences of this planet Earth. You don't have any idea of the other planet. Hiranyakashipu had everything. It is said that simply if he would move his eyebrow, if he is feeling hot by the sun, he would move his eyebrow and then the sun would reduce the temperature. That was the level of control which he was terrorizing the universe with. But he was unhappy. But Prahlad, he had nothing. He was just a small child, 5-year-old, simply happy. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, next question is by Khushi Mataji. Can you please unmute yourself? Sorry. Can you unmute? Okay, 1 second. I will. Yes, you can ask your question.
So my question was that everyone says that we are the children of the Lord, but still there is.
Can you be a little loud, please?
Is it okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
Everyone says that we are the children of Lord, but then when we have to go to like our end destination is Krishna. So to go on that path, there are so many obstacles like Moh Maya and all that. So why there is so much exam kind of
Why there is so much?
like there is so many exams we have to cross through to reach
Okay.
it.
Hmm. Why so many exams have to be given? Good question. See, it is we who have broken our relationship with Krishna and we have come here. And residence in the spiritual world means life dedicated to Krishna. Residence in the spiritual world means pure consciousness, unadulterated, unmotivated, uninterrupted love for Krishna. Why? Because everybody is like that. If in our present situation, somehow or the other, let's assume hypothetically, if in our present situation, somehow or the other, we end up in the spiritual world, we will see how everybody is serving Krishna. After 2 days, we'll get bored there. Nobody is serving me. Nobody is asking me. Everybody is mad behind Krishna only. I don't like this place. I want to go back to the material. That is our. This is our disease. We want our whole universe to revolve around us. We think that we are the center of the world and we want it and we demand it. We feel very happy when people serve us. We don't want to serve others. We don't want to serve Krishna. This is the reality, sad reality. Now, until unless we get cured of this disease, if we go in the spiritual world, what we will do? We will do offenses against other devotees, or we will do offenses against Krishna, and then again we'll fall down. Just like if somebody is suffering from chicken pox, until unless they get fully cured, they should not go in the society again. Similarly, we are suffering from the material disease where we want to be Krishna, we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, we want to exploit or be the lord of everything which we see. This is our material disease. So until this disease gets fully cured, it is not possible to go back to God. The Bible says only the meek and humble inherit the kingdom of God. So until we become meek and humble, it is not possible to go there. Neither Krishna will allow. So therefore, these exams are meant for us to reform our consciousness. These tests which Krishna gives, he basically sees that, or he basically, these are not tests, these are the treatments which Krishna gives to purify us and make us qualified so that we can go home back to Godhead and stay with him and the other devotees. So a devotee looks at these obstacles or difficulties as the mercy of Krishna, because Krishna is giving us these difficulties, making us pass through these obstacles. So we are getting purified with each and every moment which we are passing in these obstacles, provided we are remembering Krishna. That is the test. If whatever obstacle comes, if we are able to think of Krishna and never forget Krishna, then certainly we will pass that obstacle. However, if we forget Krishna, then God knows what will happen. Only Krishna knows what will happen. So I hope this answers your question. Okay. Next question is by Abhishek Mishra Prabhu. I'll request you to unmute yourself. You can start your video also.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Add you to the
Are you able to hear
spotlight.
me?
Yes, you can ask me your question. If there is any other previous question which I have not answered, you can ask that also.
No, that's totally fine. I'll be quick. Just, this morning, this question came into my mind. I was just sitting and, kind of thinking about it. So just imagine a hypothetical situation, as you said, that a soul gets the body of a demigod. Okay. And that soul is residing in some higher planetary system. And that soul is Krishna conscious over there. So what will be the ultimate fate of that? Like after the death, will it straight away go to Krishna, or will they have to come back here on earth and then
See,
try?
Krishna says, Mam upetya tu. Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevram tam tam evaiti konte. He says that if someone remembers me at the time of death, they will attain my nature for sure. He never said that this is valid for human beings and not valid for demigods, or valid for demigods, not valid for, and even a small deer. Deer comes in here, or if a crow comes in here, and somehow they are able to think of Krishna at the time of death, they'll go back home, back to God.
Yeah, because at several places I read that this human body is the only way through which you can break this cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And
Yes, that is also true. Both of those statements are true. The reason being, the problem in higher planetary systems is that the ability for sense gratification is so much that one does not feel any impetus or any need to remember God. For example, I have given this example to you. Many of the people, the material nature beats the pulp out of them, and then they are forced to surrender to Krishna. They are like, I surrender to you. So,
yeah,
but in the high planetary systems, this does not happen. The people who have the pious credits and who are a little bit deluded, who think that attaining this high planet systems is all in all, they actually end up there, and they enjoy for thousands and lakhs of years there, and there is no, practically speaking, no misery which they face. Neither they have a frailing body like us, nor they, by the way, in high planetary systems no one takes birth. They just appear there, and then where their pious credits are over, they just disappear from there, and nobody knows where they have gone, and only Indra knows who is coming from where and where they are going. So only few
that
people.
means before disappearing, they have to remember Krishna, right? If they
No,
want to know.
no. See, Kshine Punya Martya Lokam. When your pious credits, if you are just like when you go on a holiday, your money gets over, you're forced to come back house in Sandeep Vihar and your laptop and start your work.
Yeah.
Similarly, when you go to the higher planetary system, you may be having a nice time with Urvashi and Rambha, and you're them and planning to go 9 o'clock. I have to go and meet them. You're running, going, and you're running at the speed of mind in a very celestial plane. But your pious period over. Immediately you'll vanish from there. And Rambha will not be sad for you, okay? By the way. And you will again enter in this material, in this earthly realm, and then again you have to, Bhagavad Gita 6.38 to 6.47 tells how you get placed in different circumstances according to your karma. So your question, however, is a little interesting. I was saying in the higher planetary systems, the ability to do sense gratification is so much that very rarely someone remembers Krishna. Similarly, in the lower planetary systems, the suffering is so much that it is very difficult for someone to remember Krishna. Do you agree that when the enjoyment factor is too much, you'll not remember? And when the suffering is so much, you'll not remember. So the earthly planetary systems, or the earthly realm, is the only place where there is a very optimum balance between happiness and distress, and where you get a suitable atmosphere to practice bhakti. That is why you see not many demigods there. They are not pure devotees. However, you will hear many pure devotees on earth. Heard that any demigod is a pure devotee? This Indra, whenever he sees,
Yeah. Correct.
No need to talk. Similarly, the lower planetary systems, we have not heard of any not many pure devotees. But on earth, you will hear. Why? Because the atmosphere is suitable. Not too much, not too much happiness. And then one is focused, one has the association of pure devotees. In the higher planetary systems, not many pure devotees, they wander. Because pure devotees, they stay where other pure devotees are. So this is going on. The spiritual master, the Srila Prabhupada, when he was asked, when he was dying, not dying, let's say when he was quitting his body, that where will you go next? The Srila Prabhupada said, I'll go to the lower planetary systems to preach. Because people are suffering and they do not have the caliber to take Krishna consciousness. When Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was asked that where will you go? He said that I am going to moon now, because I see that the people on the moon, they have become very materialistic. They have a lifespan of 10,000 years. They have mystical powers right from birth, and they are very beautiful, very intelligent, and they are thinking that is all in all. They have forgotten Krishna. So I'm going to the moon to teach them. So these great acharyas, they go to various places to teach like this. However, on earth, the same teaching becomes very conducive. Because, like they say, if a man is very rich, I was explaining in Damodar Leela, if a man is very rich, generally they will not welcome saintly people in their house. They'll put a board, beware of dogs, or maybe they'll release their dogs on someone who comes. But if a person is little poor, poverty stricken, he will have the humility to Allah, because he's so much beaten up by the material nature. If some saintly person comes, he would like to hear from him, hoping that if I hear something, maybe I'll get a little relieved. Have anything, he may just offer a mat and a glass of water, but at least he'll do that. But the rich man, he's crazy. He'll throw the dogs at them. So that is going on in higher planetary systems, lower planetary systems. Very difficult for a soul who has got a demigod body to think of Krishna at the time of death, because so much sense gratification. If Urushi Ramba next to you, how you'll think of Krishna? And Abhishek Mishra Prabhu, if you really think you have seen beautiful women, let me tell you, you haven't. If you really think that all these great people on which you are seeing in photos and movies, they are beautiful, just you have not seen what is true beauty. Mm-hmm. So what to speak, if people like Vishwamitra are getting shaken up, then you cannot imagine what you will do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not to imagine. Correct. But let me tell you one thing. All these Urvashi and Rambha and all these so-called celestial maidens, they are very insignificant in front of the beauty of the nail of the lotus feet of Krishna. They cannot be compared to that also. So one who has tasted Krishna's beauty, like Arjuna, when he went to the higher planetary systems to get Divyastra, so Urvashi actually approached him. Now, Urvashi had bewildered Arjuna's forefathers like Pururva. There is a whole section in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, on that. Pururva, who was the king of the world, he went crazy behind Urvashi. And Urvashi left. And then he did so many austerities to get Urvashi back, and he became crazy basically. And Arjuna, when he went, he saw the same Urvashi. He saw 10,000 years have passed, she looks the same. So Urvashi actually came for a union with Arjuna. But Arjuna denied that. Vishwamitra couldn't deny, Pururva couldn't deny. These were all great Rajarshis, not ordinary people. But the reason why Arjuna could deny, because Arjuna was a devotee of Krishna. So one who has tasted the beauty of Krishna, they cannot be bewildered. However, this cannot be said for other so-called yogis, jnanis, and karmis. So coming back to the question, it is very difficult to remember Krishna at the time of death in higher planetary systems. However, we have an example of Nal, Kuvar, and Manigriv, who were benedicted by Krishna when they were released from Yamalarjun trees in Damodar Leela, if you have heard. So they were benedicted by Krishna that they will always glorify Krishna and continue doing preaching programs in the higher planetary system. Right now also they are doing that. So there is a huge probability that they will remember at the time of death, because they must not be, although they are sons of Kuver, but they are certainly not engaging in sense gratification anymore.
Because of them, actually, this question struck my mind. So I was hearing this past time and it just came into my mind. Because I have read it several places that this human body is the only way through which you can, go back to home. But I just came into my mind, like, what if some demigod will they have?
By the way, demigods are waiting to take birth in Kali Yuga on the planet Earth to participate in the movement of Lord Chaitanya and in the movement of Acharyas like Srila Prabhupada. Because what cannot be achieved in thousands and lakhs of years there can be achieved in a short span of 60, 70 years in Kali Yuga on Earth by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This is actually the truth. Even Brahma took birth as Haridas Thakur in Chaitanya Leela. And the list is endless. There are many demigods who have taken birth. Okay?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I think we have crossed the time today. Gita Mataji is reminding me that tomorrow is Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. So yes, tomorrow, 18th of November, Srila Prabhupada disappeared. He basically left this planet. So generally all the followers of Srila Prabhupada like us, we fast for half a day, fasting till noon. And after that, we will accept whatever prasad or whatever we have. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to fast till half a day. And if all those who feel some gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada on the appearance and the disappearance day of great acharyas, in order to seek their mercy, we chant some extra rounds, we do some fasting. So all those who want, they can do that. No compulsion on anybody. But if people feel gratitude, then they generally, just like on Janmashtami, we fast. Similarly, on disappearance, we do half-day fasting. Okay, so I think we have run out of time today. I don't think there is time. Should we do Damodar Ashtakam or should we wind up? I don't know. It's too late. Should we wind up? Yes or no? Or should we do Damodar Ashtakam? Let's do it. My wind up, your wish. We should do one more vote. Do it. Okay. Major. No, but this is volunteer, Mataji saying. Sudha Mataji also, she's a student, not accepted. Any other people who have to say, if I need one more yes to do it, otherwise I respect the opinion of Dakshayani Mataji that we have to wind up. Okay, Deepmala Mataji has created disharmony for Dakshayani Mataji. So Dakshayani Mataji, just bear for another 5 minutes. I'll wrap it up really fast. I'll not play the Kartal because I think in the temple, other devotees, because they get up early, so I think they must have already gotten to sleep. I will quickly share my screen and we will do Damodar Ashtakam in 5 minutes. What is that? Namamishwara. Sharing my screen now. Namameshwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam Yashodabhiyo Lokhaladhabamanam Paramrishtamatyantato Drutya Gopya Rudantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Rijantam Karambhoja Yugamena Satanka Netram Muhushvasakampa Trirekhanka Kantha Stitagraivam Damodaram Bhadham Iti Driksvalilabhi Ananda Kunde Swaghosham Nimajantam Akhyapayantam Tadiyeshitagneshu Bhakterjitatum Puna Prematastam Shata Vriti Bande Varam Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadhimba Nachanyam Vrineham Vareshadapiha Idam Deva Puranatha Gopala Balam Sada me manasya virashtam kimanye Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilayr Vritam kuntalay snegdharaktaischa gopya Muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me Manasya virashtam alam lakshya labhe Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jala Bhimagnam Kripadrishti Vrishtyati Dinam Vatanu Grihane Shamamagyam Medhyakshi Drishay Kuveratmajau Badhamurtyai Vayapat त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ प्रीतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयाच न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेस्ति दामोदरे नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरादिति धाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायाथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नममेश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भजमानम्. Thank you very much. I will request all of you to read this translation today. I would like to end this. Once I end the session, I'm also going to read this translation. So please don't leave without reading this translation. Otherwise, the meditation is, however, in the interest of time, in the interest of time of everybody, I would like to end today's session. Thank you very much. We will see you again on this Sunday. And please try to, as I said, it is again a festival session, Vardhan Leela. Try to bring in as many people as possible. It is the responsibility of all Gita course students also to bring in new people so that more and more people get this message of Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.